In today's episode, large-scale raid by Ukrainian drones on Russian enterprises. Legionnaires continue to advance on the border of Russia. Overview of the situation on the front, and much more. Hey, my name is Alex Zaplavsky, and I'm about to guide you through these topics and other key events that happened on the battlefield as of the end of March 13th, 2024. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and press the subscribe button. So let's jump right in. Drones of the Security Service of Ukraine simultaneously attacked 3 oil refineries in Ryazan, in Kosovo, Nizhny Novgorod region and in Kirishny, Leningrad region. The attacked oil refineries are among the top 5 largest oil processing plants in Russia, among with the air base of the Russian Aerospace Forces in Butelinkovo and aerodrome in Voronezh. According to the publication Ukrainska Pravda, assessing the cost of damages is difficult, but there were many hits. It is reported that authorities have started installing nets against drones over reservoirs on a mass scale. Yesterday, one drone detonated and another got tangled in such a net at one facility.
Вот еще один тебя нахуй. Здрасте нахуй, приехали.
Residents of Ryazan report 3 explosions heard over the city. After this, black smoke rose from the local oil refinery. As reported by Russian Telegram channels, a drone hit the installation for primary oil product processing on company Ryazan Oil Products.
О, падает! Пиздец! Въебал! Поехали!
Вот он.
Все, пошел.
Во, в то же место попал. Ух ты! Волна хорошая.
In the Belgorod region, an industrial zone came under shelling. There are also reports of damage of power lines. The city of Shebekino and the settlements of Novaya Tavalzhanka and Maslova Pristan are without electricity. And an example of primitive lies of Russian propaganda. I remind you that Vasily Golubev holds the position of governor of the Rostov region. At first you write about how everything was perfectly shut down. This morning 3 UAVs were destroyed by electronic warfare systems in duty of approach to Novoshakhtinsk. The consequences on Earth are being clarified by the duty services. But when photos and videos of strikes on the enterprise appear on the internet, you write that the drones were indeed shot down, just coincidentally above the factory. According to updated information, as a result of the work of the electronic warfare systems on duty, UAVs fell on the territory of the Novoshakhtinsky oil products plant. There are no dead or injured. The company's technological facilities have been stopped. The consequences are being clarified. And back to Russian propaganda. Today they claim that Russians are both a peace-loving nation and at the same time the most combative. Are we a nation of war then? I think there is no one more peaceful than a Russian. We are indeed a combative nation, essentially the only combative nation in the world possessing the moral, psychological and mental capabilities to fight. I believe we are absolutely a nation of peace, because we know what real war are like. Exactly, because we are real warriors. That's why I say we are the only remaining fighting nation in the world, with the mental readiness to fight for ourselves in defense to protect our country. We have the experience, the positive experience of centuries of military victories. We have a splendid military, technical, scientific base, and most importantly, we have the most modern weapon systems and nuclear potential. Well, We in Ukraine remember your history. Stalin, who with the hand of Zhukov and similar butchers sacrificed millions of citizens of the USSR in the Second World War. Even now, data on losses in Russia are classified. Ready to define. But who attacked you? You invaded Ukraine, thinking you could take it in 3 days. Well, we will see. Meanwhile, in Russia, the wave of deaths among top managers of state-owned corporations continues. Lukoil reported the sudden death of 53-year-old Vice President Vitaly Robertus. Robertus joined Lukoil immediately after graduating from university as an economist and rose to his current position over 30 years. As of 2021, he was in charge of the supply and sales directorate. Additionally, Vitaly Robertus was a model aircraft athlete, a 7-time Russian champion, and a 4-time world champion in model aircraft sport. And just a reminder, in Russia, almost 24 top managers of major companies, including Lukoil, Gazprom, and Novatek, mysteriously died in the months leading up to and following the full-scale attack on Ukraine. All deaths were officially declared as either suicides, accidents, or due natural causes. The fighters of the Legion of Freedom of Russia destroyed a command post on the territory of the Russian Federation. They published an appeal in which they explained their actions as necessary to fight against a criminal Putin regime, which bombs the homes of ordinary peaceful Ukrainians every day. We are approaching a crisis for the defense of the bloody regime. Anyway, it doesn't work for defense, but for attack, the fighters noted. It seems that the authorities of Belgrade have decided to heed the statement of the legions. The authorities of Belgrade have decided not to hold massive festivities for Maslenitsa, and Maslenitsa is a spring holiday in Russia, usually accompanied by mass celebrations. Later, a video message from fighters of the Legion of Freedom of Russia, reportedly recorded from Tetkino, Kursk region, appeared.
Ведем бой в Теткино.
Легион Свобода России.
Also, footage of the aftermath of shelling has emerged online. As reported by the governor of the Kursk region, Roman Starkov, household buildings and a store in the village have been damaged. And now, let's get back to the situation on the front line. 63rd Mechanized Brigade, together with the 45th Artillery, successfully struck the Russian heavy 240mm mortar Tulpit and cleared the positions with Russian infantry and bunker with cluster munitions. Kremensky direction. The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation has released a footage of an attack on the parking lot of 3 Ukrainian Mi-8 helicopters in the Donetsk region. It is evident that the video consists of 2 clips. Initially, we see 3 helicopters on the field. A fragmentation projectile or missile approaches and inflicts non-critical damage, which means it does not destroy the helicopter. Next, we observe the scenes where there are only 2 helicopters on the field, indicating that more accurate projectile or drones target them. One helicopter evidently managed to take off in the interval between attacks. However, 2 others, after the first attack, sustained damage and cannot take off, and as a result were destroyed. Situation in the area of Berdichi village, Avdiivka direction, from a fighter of the 25th Separate Mechanized Brigade, 47th Separate Mountain Infantry Brigade. I don't even know what to say. It's like there is no time to be bored there, but nothing new is observed either. We are dealing with the Ox infantry. They trying to maneuver, pushing towards Semenivka, left flank of Berdichi, because they realize they cannot take us head-on even with numerical superiority. Guided aviation bombs are becoming a problem again. The Russian aviation has started daring again by dropping 1-ton bombs on positions. The guys are top-notch overall. We work like a single mechanisms, no one back down. The situation on the Novopavlivka direction from the 46th Brigade, which is currently stationed there, one of the most problematic directions on the front. The enemy has launched a new wave of attacks on Novomikhailivka. Enemy aviation is intensively striking the northern and western parts of the settlement. At the same time, assault also continues from the southern direction, Georgiivka. Enemy units have advanced farther towards Georgiivka and have practically reached the center of the settlement. On one hand, the autonomous advancement towards Kurakhove poses threats to the flanks of advancing units, while on the other hand, it allows the Russians to turn south towards Pobeda or north towards Krasnogorivka. The enemy has been entering Krasnogorivka informationally for the second week already, and even establishing itself in the south, Pobeda. The enemy suppresses the northern part of the settlement. Presumably, this is organizationally linked to the single concept of advancement in Georgiivka. Meanwhile, the commander of the armed forces of Ukraine, Syrskyi, visits the frontline positions in the difficult sectors of the front. I visited and I worked with 2 brigades, where the situation gradually became more complicated, and there was a threat of enemy units advancing deep into our lines. And on this short video, places where the Russian world has arrived. A small excerpt from a report from the frontline city of Orikhiv, Zaporizhia region, live just a few kilometers away from the war. The situation in the city is tense and very tense. We usually got out only under shelling. Quiet, we drove out and put out the fire. We sit hiding like during shelling at home in basements. And so we go through all the days. I wish the war would end soon, so that people could return. Everyone calls asking if they can come, even for a day, just to see how it is. People come, they are already waiting for us. Everything we bring, we distribute, for people, for animals, for dogs, for everyone.
Оце ж хлібчика
What a bread
взяв
today.
сьогодні, да. Оце хорошо.
Well, nothing. We live hoping for a quick victory. They all wait for us. Everyone comes, everyone asks, how are things, how are you there? Well, of course everyone already knows us. Without help, rescues, it would have been very bad. Sometimes we didn't even have bread. This shift, I know them well. I am grateful to God for giving us such people. The speech on the podium of the National Assembly of France, lower house of Parliament, by Gabriel Attal, the Prime Minister of France. I say this here as a Prime Minister of France, on behalf of Government of France, from the podium of the National Assembly of France. I say it from the depths of the soul, which pains the French people. Glory to Ukraine. France has fundamentally changed its stance towards the war in Ukraine in recent months. Official France has always sought to maintain a neutral position and even more favorable towards Russia. It seems that French have remembered that they are the sons of the great nation, which does not behoove them to bury their heads in the sand. And that wraps up today's video. If you found the information valuable or insightful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye bye.